Well, good morning. We have a hazard tree in our yard, and my husband has made arrangements to have it cut down, and they started doing that before I was even in bed, and they got to hear it. See our barn, that tree that's tilting, they're going to cut it down. They're going to start chopping on it in a second. So that's what I woke up to this morning, and of course when I wake up to something exciting, I start thinking about how I can use my day, because I hate a day that's wasted. So today I'm going to start my day by dehydrating some pasta. Get a little bit of these guys on here. Hard work. Alrighty, while they're hard at work outside, I will do some work inside, and I'm here with my pasta. This is just elbow macaronis. Those are just so common, they're easy to use. Oh, there goes the chainsaws. Anyway, you can use these in a lot of casseroles and soups and all kinds of stuff. So they're just a handy type of pasta to use. And what you do is you put these in your water and you boil them like you would normally do it, as if you were going to use them in a regular recipe. But then when you've done boiled them and they're to that proper stage, you put them in a, you rinse that, you strain them, and then you rinse them to get the extra starch off. And then you put them on the dehydrator, and it should take 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, depending on how many you have, and of course the humidity, temperature, and things like that. But anyway, you may ask, why are you dehydrating pasta? Isn't it already dried? Yes, it's already dried, but it's not already, the cell walls haven't been broken down, so it's not as receptive. You have to, in the boiling process, it actually breaks the cell walls down, and that's what softens the pasta. Well, if you know, like ramen noodles, when you do those instant soups, those noodles and things like instant rice, minute rice, those have already been pre-cooked, and so they're receptive to the water quicker. So when you boil the pasta, it kind of breaks down those cell walls and makes it, that shiny look is a little bit gone, and it's receptive. In that, you could put these in your emergency meals for your 72-hour packs and things, because if you didn't have hot water and you put pasta noodles as they are in room temperature water, they would just sit there. Whereas if they're previously cooked and dehydrated, if you put them even in just room temperature water, in about 30 minutes, they're right. They're the way they should be, as if you had cooked them. And of course, if you're lucky enough in the situation of an emergency to be able to have hot water or boiling water, they will reconstitute in just a few minutes. Kind of the same way that ramen or those instant type meals do. So that's why we would want to dehydrate these noodles. Now I just finished doing all my vegetable soup. You can see I still have to go put it on the shelves. I've got my labels on them, everything's good. But because my pressure cooker's here, I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is a nice big pot, and I think it can hold that pasta and do it all at once instead of doing it in smaller amounts and taking longer. So I'm going to boil the pasta in my pressure cooker. I'm not going to put the lid on, I'm just going to use it to boil. So, and a tip is, when you use your pressure cooker to do anything besides, there's pressure canner besides pressure canning, if you do something like soups or great big stews, one thing you should never do is when you're stirring is to hit the side to clean off a spoon. People technically, they'll stir it away and then they'll whack it on the side of their pressure canner to clean the spoon off. And you should never do that, because anything that you do that can damage this lip on the edge, it can help break the seal that you would need when you're pressure canning. So if you're going to use this pressure canner for anything other than pressure canning, don't ever hit the edge of it with something strong. So anyway, I'm going to get back to my pastas, and once they're boiled, I'll show you this point. But the thing that we're doing is, once they're boiled, they're going to go on my dehydrator, and any of you that subscribe to my channel, and I hope you all do, will know from watching any of my other previous dehydration videos that I have these little sheets that go on my racks, because the holes in the racks are too big and things will fall through. So I'll put the noodles on there, and then we'll turn it on and we'll let it go, and when we get to that point, I'll show you how I set that. So I'll be back with you soon. Alright, while the pasta's boiling, let's watch a little bit of this tree come down. It's always fun. Uh-oh. There's more of a chainsaw coming down. Scared me for a minute. Woo. So they're going to do a little bit by bit, and then the big part in chunks, right? Is that what's happening, dear? I don't know. Anyway, it takes a while.
I thought most of
Uh-oh.
Now when you notice the separating, hate when that happens. Well, I knew it was going to happen.
So now they just have to chunk it up?
So I did that so it wouldn't tip over and hit the shed. Yeah. You want me to get on the other end of the rope? No, because it'll be out of your reach here in just a second. Okay. I got it.
Lay that one right there.
Well, firewood.
Yeah. Poplar then.
That poplar's coming down too, though, isn't it? Isn't it dead?
No.
Oh, I thought it was. Looks dead to me.
Poplars
Are they? I've always thought that tree was dead. All right. Well, that's a good chunk of tree right there. It looks so much smaller way high up in the air. That's how people get in trouble. They don't think a tree is really as big as it is when they go up to cut it down.
It's going to be a hard one to cut down because it's a
Yeah,
hillside right below.
I know it. That's a new shed too. We don't want to hurt the shed. All right, I gotta go back inside. All right, there's the pasta boiled away, and see, this pot's big enough I could do that whole entire box of pasta in one go. So that's kind of nice. So now I've tested it, and the pasta's just at the right, like if we would use it to cook anything, macaroni and cheese or whatever. So I'm gonna take it over and strain it and rinse it, and then we'll put it on the trays. So I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, so the pasta was drained, and I rinsed it with cold water in my strainer here, and that's just something you probably know how to do, so I don't really feel like I need to show you. But anyway, so you boil your pasta, drain it good, rinse it with cold water to get all the starch off, and then I put it in the dehydrator. It's set at about 130 degrees, and it's just laid out on the trays like that, and it will dry out, and then it'll take a couple, 3 hours, and as soon as that's done, I'll come back and show you how it turned out, and we'll reconstitute some. This is how, sometimes at the store you can see those boxes of what they call 3-minute pasta, and it's for convenience and quick meals. This is really making your own 3-minute pasta. So I'll be back in a couple of hours when it's dry, and we'll see exactly how long it takes, and then we'll finish it up. Okay, so this pasta has been on these sheets for about 3 hours, and you can see that it's dried up, and it was just, you know, pasta like you would normally get. Oh, let me fix that. Pasta like you would get out of, you know, after you boil it in a pan, and you can hear it's dried pretty hard. And what I did was, there's some of them that are still a little bit, need to go a little bit more, but what I did was I took a few pieces and I put them in these little bowls. This was with hot water, and like tap water, hot water. It didn't have to be boiling, and this is just room temperature water. Now this has been sitting, these have been sitting for 15 minutes, and I can feel the outside of this one is starting to become soft, and I can feel it's breaking down, ready to, you know, give it about another 15 minutes. And that's what it said when I read about dehydrating pasta, that in room temperature or cool water it'll take about 30 minutes to soften up. However, this, the warmer water, is already soft. You can see that, and it's just the perfect consistency to use if you were to do some cheese powder or something and make some emergency macaroni and cheese, or a broth and make a nice noodle and dehydrated vegetable soup or casserole or something. So hot water reconstitutes a little bit sooner. Room temperature it will, but it's slower, and that one's even softer. You can see it's starting to soften up there. So try it. I hope you like it, and I guess I'm going to try some other types of pasta too and see what I can make out of those. But by the time this is done, I would imagine from all of these trays with this much pasta, I'm probably going to get a nice quart or more jar out of these, and so I know I'll have some pasta for an emergency backup plan. So give it a shot. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe, and have a great day.